Okay, so I saw the ending coming at about a fourth way in. Um, by the time the writer repeats for the second time, actually, in the exact moment where the old trees tell the fir tree to enjoy its time, and the fir tree is like, "Oh, I wonder what they mean." I knew already that this was gonna end with the tree being used for Christmas and then being chopped up and all of that stuff. And even still, I enjoyed it. I can tell you right now, as I flipped the page to read that last half, I was thinking to myself, right, I'm going to start the discussion phase by explaining that I am really not a fan of repetition. As a way to explain why I don't feel that strongly about the story, but then the way that it was written was actually brutal enough that made me rethink it. This is actually a good example of uh, execution. Sometimes a story goes exactly the way you expect it to go, and exactly what you expect to happen happens, and you're still delighted and enjoy it a lot, not because what you it might have been what you wanted to happen. In my case, it wasn't. I really don't have any strong feelings about it, but because it is very well executed. It might even be something you don't want to happen. You can see like, oh no, this character is gonna die. Oh, they're gonna kill my favorite character. Oh no, oh no, and then but then when the death scene comes, you truly feel you are just speechless, like I am kind of now. Like, wow, that was really well done, and this was really well done. I'll show you. I'm excited about this. I'm going to show you exactly um, the selection of words, because some of the story has the same problems I pointed out in what was this? What was the story? Let me go back to the index. Oops. Oh man, so many stories to read. Awesome. Oops. Um, I just noticed there's a story called The Philosopher's Stone, by the way. Oh boy. Anyway, the flax. Was it the flax? Yeah, it was the flax. So the flax had a lot of repetition, a lot of the same point being told over and over and over and over again. I even titled the YouTube video that I made out of it like, yes, change is painful but good. We get it. We get the point. Come on. It just repeats the point over and over and over again. This one does the same, but the difference is, um, oops. Oh, now I lost the freaking. This is the very first one. Nightingale, the best story yet. Um, the Fir-Tree. Here we go. I'm going to read back the part where I was really, really happy with, and I'll explain why really fast. So, this is it. So, it goes over, it starts right here, right in the first sentence. Look what is still sticking to the ugly fir tree, said the child, treading on the branches which cracked under its boots. Like, this is already brutal, more brutal than the other instances, because the other instances is just a tree like, oh, I was really happy before, I should have really enjoyed that before, I really missed that before, and then other people just being casually uninterested or being casually, oh, this is what's going to happen. But nothing is strong at all until this moment where the bad moment, because every moment is worse than the last in this story. I'll get to the main moral of the story soon. It's just that I really find it obvious, so I don't think I need to explain it that much. So I'll explain it in the end. But the story keeps repeating. Now it's worse than before. Now it's worse than before. Now it's worse than before. This is the first part, and here at the end, the tree does not say this is worse than before. It starts with, it just shows you, it makes you feel it. The kid like, ugh, and calls it ugly, tramples, cracks its branches, you know. And then the tree looks at other pretty things, at other beautiful things, while so far it has only looked at itself and at the past self and how it was better. But here it looks at the other flowers, at the garden, etc., and it wishes it had remained in the dark corner of the garret, which is a different way to do the same thing. So far it has been like, oh, I wish I was still there. Oh, I wish I was still there. Um, you know, but not not enough reasons. But ever since it was put in the dark corner, but then now it's. I want to articulate this well. Every other instance when the tree thinks about how much better the past was, it's thinking fondly. It's like, I wish I was there because it was better. But the way that this is written, it and wished that it had remained in the dark corner of the garret. Before we go to the other part, which is more of the same, this sentence here, it looked at itself and wished that it had remained in the dark corner of the garret. In every other instance, oh, I wish I was there because I was having such a good time. This one is like, I wish I was there so I could hide myself, so I don't have to see the deplorable state that I am in right now. So, because this last half of the page starts this way, first it shocks you with a very immersive way to describe what a bad situation it is. Then the tree looks at itself and it just wants to hide. And this is the first time it wants to go to the past, to the dark corner of the garret to hide. That is how ugly it finds itself, etc. And then, very interesting, even more interesting, it says, "All is over," said the old tree. "Oh, that I had enjoyed myself while I could do so. All is passed away." So, this is the moral of the story, and is very obvious, I think, by the third time it freaking repeats that. Oh, you should have enjoyed, you know. But this part is whatever. What interests me is this the start of this sentence is what saves the ending for me. "All is over," said the old tree. Until the very previous page, like the very paragraph before this one, the last thing this Fir-Tree says to the mice is, "I'm not old, I'm young." You know, but the narration calls it an old tree right here. You know, and suffice it to say, it might not be just because it's dying. It might be that it is. It might not be because it is dying. It might be because it is actually old and it just hasn't noticed that it was old. So this is phenomenal. It's a phenomenally well written, you know, and then it goes on with describing just the tree being chopped up and used as lumber for the fire. So nothing much to say about the shock factor of those descriptions. It's a very good ending. It puts it literally knocks you over the head with an axe to explain the moral of the story, and that is the sentence. Basically, enjoy the good moments as you're living them, because you never know if you're ever going to be that happy again. And it's funny because there's another fairy tale, The Steadfast Soldier and the Flax. Yeah, it's actually funny. We can compare the Fir-Tree to the flax, because the flax was all about how change is awesome and it's always for the better, or rather, things can always get better. Things can always get better. The flax is always going to be, oh, why does this have to happen? This is so painful. Oh, wait, this is actually awesome. And the Fir-Tree is like, oh, I can't wait to be in that situation. Wait, this situation is worse. I wish I wish I didn't come here. Now, you might find them contradictory, but they're both very important. it is important to enjoy the good in the moment that we are living. But it's also important when we are in bad moments to know that there is a potential for the happiest moments yet to come forth, which is what the Steadfast Tin Soldier is all about. So, I, for one, lover of stories, I love this. I love how these lessons are connecting across the filler stories that I'm reading in between the the freaking, I don't even remember the names of the stories that I don't like. Um, so I like these lessons interconnecting, and I like that you can think from different angles. The execution is very similar. In terms of the writing, I think it is in general pretty good. I'm still not a fan of some run-on sentences. I'm not a fan of semicolons, paragraphs using semicolons, and I'm not a fan of when this of the perspective change when the guy gives a little bit of a tidbit. Oops. Oh, wait. I know. I have to put the marker back. Let's prepare the next story for tomorrow. So I myself, I was literally about to go meh on the story, and then this last half, perfect, which is a mark of really good storytelling. This is a way to tell good storytelling from bad storytelling. Bad storytelling is when you are enjoying the story a lot. A lot. You enjoy the characters, you enjoy where it's going. And then the end comes and you're completely disappointed. This is bad storytelling, because storytelling, good storytelling, is all about the ending. It's all about the conclusion. Because a conclusion is never just a wrap up. It's never just, well, it has to end sometime. Even though, well, the story does say that. Every story needs an ending, right? He says, even though Marvel and DC are a thing. Anyway, every story needs an ending. And it is, my thoughts got derailed there. I was on a good point. Yes, good storytelling by how well it ends. Even if the ending, you see it coming and it's not very well executed, you can, if it's not one, anticlimactic, and if it makes sense, it might just be bad execution in general of the story. It might be a lot of other variables, but at least you know that the storytelling is good. But if you see the ending to a story and it is just satisfying in no way, it is in no way satisfying. Even when it delivers on stuff that you wanted, it's still not satisfying. That is a trademark to anyone in the mainstream, no matter how layman we are, no matter how little we understand about the art of writing in general, not just storytelling. That is a very strong tell that the storytelling of the entire story was bad. The reason why we enjoy the beginning of this might be interesting. I'll just give you some bite-sized info. This is gonna be pretty big, but nobody's gonna care until I'm someone. But this is it. You enjoy the beginning of a story, and the thing that has the most impact on your enjoying the beginning of the story is the theme and the setup of the story. I don't want to say the setup. It's the theme and the setup. I mean, like the idea of the story. When you can sell a one sentence sell of the story of the book, and someone likes that one sentence, they will like the beginning, because that is when you are setting the world, you are setting the mystery or the adventure, the fantasy, the rules. You are introducing the imagination to the audience, or you are introducing the problem to the audience. And the problem is interesting. The intrigue is fascinating. The fantasy is well thought out. And all of this stuff leads the audience to enjoy the beginning. Now, the middle, of course, can last a long while, and there are a whole lot of reasons. But the main of which is the quality of the dialogue and or the quality of the characters. So these things will carry most of the story through. But throughout the beginning and throughout the middle, there are a bunch of storytelling components that need to be present. Otherwise, the ending will always fail expectations. It will always fall flat if the storytelling elements are not there across the beginning and across the middle. And what it feels like is you only didn't like the ending. You hear this with a lot, TV shows, especially movies, etc., where stories have the ability to be carried by actor performances, by music, by production, by pictures. In case of comic books, or any visual medium. So the story can be carried by a lot of other things. But the moment that nothing can carry the story, and from our perspective, from the perspective of the audience, the writing, that is the ending. So sometimes we say, oh, the show was great, the book was great, but the ending sucks. No. If the ending sucked, you liked some things about the book, but the book wasn't good because the book or the story or the show or whatever, because the storytelling was bad. The story was bad. Or the way that the story was told was bad. So I hope I articulated that well. I will probably articulate this point a lot, many times in the future, and I will eventually perfect the delivery of my point. But I'm gonna leave it at that for today. That was the Fir-Tree. I got bored with the repetitions because I'm really not a fan of repetitions. I think you repeat any metaphor, any analogy, or any point more than 3 times, and most people will get bored. Even if they're not catching the analogy or the metaphor, repeating them more and more, it's not going to help. So you need to put it bluntly, as they do in the end. But the execution in the ending was great, and it demonstrated how well the entire story was weaved to lead to that ending. And the choice to be blunt, to be cruel, and to be harsh was very good in that respect. I really liked it. And so it is over, said the old tree. It's just perfect. All right. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, if you have. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But I'll be all right without them. Thankfully, I have my own thoughts. I don't need other people's, but I'm always interested in hearing other people's, because then mine get better. Anyway, this was Cuscopia with the Fir-Tree, a classic fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen. I am gonna sign out. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.